What is up, YouTube? This is the real Hayden here to review Avengers Endgame. Now, Endgame is a 2019 release. I haven't seen this. I managed to avoid spoilers for this and Infinity War for 6 and 7 years. Watched these recently, and I seen the first Iron Man, first Incredible Hulk in theaters in 2008 when they came out. Kept up with all of them until Doctor Strange. I watched Doctor Strange, missed Guardians 2, seen Homecoming, missed Thor Ragnarok all the way to present. So I'm watching these, catching up on all of them. I'm glad I did. They were honestly worth the wait because these were pretty fun movies, to be honest. And a lot of people talk about which one is better, which one they think is better. Is it Infinity War or is it Endgame? And personally, I thought Infinity War was the more fun movie. Now, there were aspects to Endgame that I liked better. Like, I liked Captain America felt like Captain America in Endgame. He didn't really feel that much so in Infinity War. But Hawkeye and Ant Man, they both returned in this. Hawkeye was kind of annoying in this, to be honest. This was a 3 hour movie. It didn't really feel like 3 hours, but I feel like they could have packed a lot more into it. Like everything kind of just came together perfectly at the end. But I feel like they rushed all the characters like in at once. I feel like they could have done something different, but they did. They did pretty good, honestly. Um, Spoiler alert: Iron Man sacrifices himself at the end in order to get everyone their loved ones back. That's basically the plot of this one because everyone evaporated, vanished, half the world at the end of Infinity War. So in this one, they're trying to go back to the quantum realm through time and undo all of that. And that's basically what they do. But there are a couple little sacrifices along the way, like Black Widow's character, which that part was they wanted to do something surprising because it would have been predictable to have Hawkeye be the one to sacrifice himself. My favorite part of the whole end game was the very first part when Thanos made his entrance right before the final battle, and Captain America and Thor and Iron Man were slowly like approaching him, like leading in the battle, and he was like, "You're all not gonna be alive" or whatever. It was just a cool aura moment, and I thought Thanos was a great villain. You know, he had just the perfect amount of screen time. I think he had about half his screen time in this that he did in Infinity War. But they already showed you who he was in Infinity War, what he was there to do. So this one, they meet up at the end, they fight, and it was a hell of a battle. Everyone came in. The Guardians, they were all there. I was kind of hoping to see Drax. I'm glad he made a small appearance. There was no end credits scene, which I didn't think there should or would be because, end game, it should have been the end, but, they're continuing. They're not going to leave all that money on the table. But Endgame was a fun movie. I think I gave this 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave Infinity War 5 stars. This was a great movie, but it could have been better. There were things I didn't like about it. I didn't like the whole them kind of burying Thor's character. I didn't really like that. Um, they gave too much. They didn't have a lot of characters throughout the movie until the end. Tom Holland Spider Man. It was cool to see him pop up, but he didn't really do much in this movie. But the final battle was cool. Like Thanos, they really made him a monster in this movie. Like he was just shattering and demolishing everybody, making it look like light work, like it was just effortless. And Thanos is a great villain. Everyone knows that. And I'm so glad that I finally got to check this masterpiece out. It's a great movie, the Infinity War saga. Personally liked part one better. But this isn't an Infinity War review. I don't really care much for what they did with the Hulk. I've never been a big fan of Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. He was cool in the first Avengers movie, but after that, I never really cared about Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I thought they just made him weak. Just didn't really care much about him. Edward Norton and Eric Bana's Hulk was a lot better in my opinion. But Mark Ruffalo, he's good here and there. He adds some good comedic elements to the movie. Um, Black Widow, she was just there. She's tried to change her hair again to try to bring something new, but she's just there. I know there's a Black Widow movie in Phase 4 starting that off, but she sacrifices herself. Her and Hawkeye's fighting over that. That was somewhat of a cool scene, but she's not going. She's got another movie, so yeah, you got to see a couple of other characters. Pretty much everybody. Pepper, she was wearing a female Iron Man suit. You even seen an Aunt May. They did a Stan Lee cameo, but like him in the 70s. So I'm assuming he passed away before he could shoot that cameo for this. But he did have a cameo in Captain Marvel, so that might have been the last official one that he shot. I'm not sure because he died late 2018. Endgame is a 2019 film, and yeah, I didn't really care much with what they did with Thor's character. It was cool to see them go back in time to like New York 2012. You don't barely see the Wasp in this, but you see Ant Man in it quite a bit. You know, he was okay in this. I didn't really care for Ant Man and the Wasp too much. They didn't have Captain Marvel in it too much, which thank God I was not a fan of her character. But yeah, I'm trying to see with Black Panther. He didn't do much in this. He was at the end. His character's cool. I didn't like his movie, but the character's still cool, and I think he's the right choice. I just didn't like the movie itself. But Endgame is fun, man. You know, it's got some fun moments. It's still steady. I don't think it's as fun as Infinity War though. You know, War Machine was in this. He had quite a bit of screen time in this. Um, yeah, there was some boring moments, but nothing too boring that makes you want to turn the movie off or anything. You're still interested the whole time. You know, there's a good night for a 3 hour movie. It has great pacing, honestly, and you know everything connects beautifully. Like seeing Howard Stark, Tony Stark meet his dad back in the 70s, which you only would really know about that scene if you've seen Captain America: The First Avenger from 2011, and that was a good one too. I like that one. I think I gave The First Avenger like a 6 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's fun. Maybe that was a low rating. Maybe I should do better, but yeah, this is a cool set right here. You know, slipcover. It's got a bunch of special features. Remembering Stan Lee. Um, yeah, in game, it was cool to see Captain America back in full form because I was kind of depressed. I was like, why does he not feel like Captain America in Infinity War? You know, he's a fugitive on the run, but come on, man, we want to see Captain America. And it was crazy to see Thanos just plow through him and break his shield in this. Iron Man just gets fried. And there's one point where Gwyneth Paltrow is just like, you can go, you can rest now. It's because she knows it's his final moments and she doesn't want to make him worry in his final moments. So she tells him, you know, good job, you can rest now. Even though it hurts on the inside, you know, but it's a good cinema. It's a good somatic element to the movie. But yeah, this was a fun movie. You know, they let Iron Man really take one for the team at the end to kind of prove that he's got everybody's back and he wants to save everybody. At one point in the movie, he's stubborn and doesn't want to go back in time because within that 5 years after Infinity War, which the movie's based on, he had a kid and he don't want to risk that to bring everyone else back. But he ends up coming around on that decision. But yeah, Endgame was fun. It made a shit ton of money as well as Infinity War. Thanos was good in this movie too. The final battle was awesome. That was what was missing from Infinity War. Infinity War was a perfect movie, but it didn't have that. I mean, it did have a great battle, but you didn't get the final result. Like this felt like unfinished business, and they were finishing it in this movie. And that scene where Thanos like enters, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man are slowly approaching him, and he's like, "You're not going to be a lot." Like I felt that like this is about to be a motherfucking fight. Like they're going to try to kill each other, and that's what they did. Like it was a hell of a fight, and it was fun to watch. This is a 4.5 star movie for me out of five. That's what I gave it on Letterboxd. I gave Infinity War 5 stars. I'd probably give this 9 out of 10 rating. I think that's the same thing I gave the first Avengers, honestly. Even though there's a difference between favorite and best. So, in the first Avengers, that was a favorite. You know, it's nostalgic and things like that. So there's a difference between favorite and best. I'm not going to say that the other ones aren't better just because they're newer. You know what I mean? But Endgame, fun movie, guys. Go check out Avengers Endgame. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting to touch on. There wasn't much Captain Marvel that was good to me. The Witch, she wasn't in this much. And they went back in time, but they didn't get Vision. I don't know if I caught on why Vision didn't appear when they brought everyone back. But yeah, and at the end, Captain America is like old. Like I don't know where they're trying to go with that. I mean, I don't know if I really like the direction of where they're going with Brave New World and all that other stuff. We'll have to see and find out because I need to catch up on all of it. But yeah, I like the ending. It's cool. Um, I thought they were going to bring Black Widow back, is where they were headed with that, but no, they brought Steve Rogers back as an old man. So, um, yeah, and then I think it ends with like a scene of him and Peggy dancing, and then there's something else maybe. But you know, the witch, she didn't really. She had like one or two good scenes in this. I'm trying to think of someone else. The Guardians, they did good. Gamora didn't really fuck with what's his name, Pete, Star Lord, much in this movie. The sister is kind of annoying. Gamora's sister, the blue one. Yeah, she kind of gets on my nerves. But yeah, Thanos is a good villain. This is a good movie, guys. Go check this movie out. Avengers Endgame gets a 9 out of 10 for me. I prefer Infinity War, but they're both solid ass movies. You need to see both of them. Great 3 hour movie for real. It doesn't even feel like it. But guys, go check out Endgame if you haven't already. It's a must watch. Great movie. Peace.